You'll remember the craps game. It had two phases to it. You rolled some dice, and in the first phase, if you got 2, 3 or 12, you immediately lost. If you got a 7 or an 11, you immediately won. If you got neither of those, then the game entered a second phase where you rolled the dice again. And if you got a 7 or 11, you immediately lost. And obviously you had to remember what you'd scored first time round. And if you managed to roll that again, then you won. So if you rolled a 5 the first time round, you were trying to roll a 5 again. So this is a version of that works just fine. I've just been testing it. So here, for example, I rolled a 7 in the very first place, so won straight away. I rolled a 3 in the first place, so I lost straight away. This one, I rolled an 8 straight away, so it moved into the second phase of the game, and I kept on rolling, and eventually I rolled a 7, which meant I lost. And here was one where I rolled an 8 in the first phase, and I rolled again, and I got an 8 again, so I won. All right, so just making sure we understand how the craps thing works. Now, this program has one issue that I would like to resolve. The issue is repeated code. It's a very small segment of that, but it's illustrative of the whole point. Rolling 2 dice happens identically in 2 different places. I have it here. I have exactly the same code here. Programmers hate repeated code like this because, for example, if I decide to change the wording, so you rolled, I've said your total, maybe I want to put that there instead, I have to change that in 2 places. That's a trivial example, but there's all kinds of situations where you'd end up having to change multiple things, multiple places, and you're likely to make mistakes and cause problems. And of course it bloats your code. It makes it less readable. So I'm going to use a function here just to tidy this up and put all that code so it's only in one place. So I'm going to take one of the instances here, which is just that, and I'm going to put it inside a function. So I'm going to say here, this is going to be def roll 2 dice is the name of the function. And because I tabbed it in, everything on that level of indentation is contained inside that function. Now, I'm just going to move this down here because that's going to be after. Now, what I want to do is call that function from 2 places. Here's one of the places. I can safely delete that now. And I'm just going to say roll 2 dice to call the function. Now the thing is though, I don't know what this dice total is down here. Because this value is inside this function, it will be forgotten about when we leave the function. So this is the reason why we return values. So we're going to return the dice total. So when I call this function, it will return the value that I specify. And I'm actually going to put that into a variable down here, dice total. I happen to call it the same name, could be called something different. Anyway, so I've called that function there, and I'm also going to call that function here. Oh, I've got to do the same thing. Dice total equals roll 2 dice. So I no longer have the repeated code, but I have got a single call here and a call here to my single function. Let's check it works, shall we? Wow, that took a long time. So I got a 9 and kept on rolling, never got a 9, didn't get a 7 or 11, right into the end, and I lost. But it still works. So the principle though is that we now have this lot of code only once, and if I change the wording here, I only have to change it in one place.